Okay, I'm gonna mute myself now.
Okay.
Okay, we are live. Welcome,
Okay.
everyone.
I see a few people still connecting to the audio, but I'm going to get started. And let me give you a few seconds just to connect to the audio. A few more people trying to connect. Okay, we'll get started. My name is Valerie Vargas, and I want to welcome you to UIW and the new student orientation for the School of Professional Studies. So first, I would like to introduce our advising team. Our advising team is made up of Jacqueline Gonzalez, who's at the Northwest Center when we're not in quarantine, Kelly Wilson, who is also at the Northwest Center, Melissa Flores, who is at the Alamo Heights Center, Mary Banfield is at the Northeast Center, Robert Barclay, who typically works out of the Alamo Heights Center, and coming up will be helping us out at the Northeast Center as well. Priscilla Johnson is academic advisor in Corpus Christi. Christina Rollison is at the Alamo Heights Center. I'm Valerie Vargas. I'm at the Northeast Center. We have Adriana Gutierrez, who is our student enrollment specialist. All of you who were first admitted, she's your first point of contact after admissions, helps you get registered. And we have Sean Ford, who is our student success advisor. And all of us make up the advising team. So we're here to help you and make sure that you have everything you need moving forward in your educational journey with UIW. So we're going to talk about the student's role first. We ask that all students read the university bulletin, your student handbook, and any other materials that are provided for you when you first come into the program. We want you to ask questions. It's really important, and it's what we're here for. Don't ever feel like you're bothering us by asking us for explanations regarding policies or procedures. If you're unclear or confused about something, please feel free to contact any of us. Know and meet graduation and other requirements contained in the bulletin, class schedules, other publications. We're going to help you with this. We're going to help explain the graduation requirements, your degree requirements, and we're going to be here as your guide. So you're not going to be alone in this journey. I want you to maintain your own personal academic record. What I recommend to students is you keep a notebook, whether it be electronic or on paper, of everything, your degree plan, your unofficial transcripts, just a record for your availability. Okay. So the student and advisor, these are the roles and responsibilities of each of us. Students coming into SPS are assigned an official academic advisor. We highly encourage you to stick with your academic advisor. But if for some reason you can't get a hold of your advisor or your advisor may not be available to you, you can reach out to any of the advisors on the advising team and we'll be able to assist you. We'll ensure that we communicate with your academic advisor and let them know what we've discussed and what plans we've made or decisions we've made moving forward for you so that everybody's on the same page. Okay. Remember your advisor's contact information, especially email address. We definitely all have a contact telephone number, but in this day and age, it is really advisable that you communicate via email. You'll get a quicker response from your advisor, and it seems to be easier to communicate this way. And if you can imagine, when we're speaking with a student, either in the office or on the phone, it's difficult for us to answer the line, but an email seems to be a lot easier and quicker response times come with emails. Your advisor is going to assist you in registering for courses, helping you find out where you access your textbooks, help you maintain a checklist of your progress for graduation, As you move forward in your program, we're going to be there letting you know, hey, you still need these things to meet your degree requirements. And that's officially called a graduation audit. So we're all on the same page. And also be sure to memorize your student ID number. And I'm going to stress this point. If you could please include your student ID number in all communication with your academic advisor. It really helps speed up the process when we're trying to assist you. So this is your degree, and the advising process depends on participation, thoughtful participation of the student, and a partnership with your academic advisor. And ultimately, the final responsibility for meeting all your academic requirements and the institutional requirements is on you. It rests with the student. And what that means is we're going to give you the resources and the information to know what it is you need to complete in order to earn this degree. But it's your job to make sure that you're meeting those requirements and that you're registering for the classes you need when they're available. We're going to give you all those options and all those tools to help you make sure you stay on track. So we have a portal for all students, and it's called Cardinal Apps. And Cardinal Apps it's extremely important that you have access to it. So if today you do not, or you're having trouble with a username or ID number, please reach out to the UIW help desk. In Cardinal Apps is where you're going to find your student email, Office 365. So at UIW, students have access to the entire Microsoft Office suite for free. It's here in your Cardinal Apps. You've got Word, you've got PowerPoint, Excel. So this is extremely imperative that you have access to this portal. This is where your DegreeWorks account is. A DegreeWorks is your official degree plan. You can print it out or save it as a PDF. You can make notes. If you save it as a PDF, it's extremely necessary. This is your guide for your degree. It also contains Blackboard, which is the platform that we're using at this time for classes. Banner registration, where you register, where you can see your schedule. Your bill is there under CashNet, where you can pay for it and see what you owe. And UIW Engage, which is an extension of GivePulse, part of the Etling Center that is responsible for community service. And this is where you're going to upload all that information. So it's really important that you have access to Cardinal Apps. So this is what Cardinal Apps looks like when you first enter the main page. And this one looks a little different because of course it's an employee's screenshot, but you basically have everything that you see here: Office 365, email, Blackboard Learn, Zoom, you have the UIW Engage, and all the banner apps. Just please make sure that you have access to this. And you're going to see a little app called Canvas. In summer, we're migrating from Blackboard and moving to Canvas as our platform for courses. And there's another, there's UIW Engage, and right next to it is GivePulse. So Cardinal Email is going to be your main form of communication with your advisor, but as well as all departments at the university. Cardinal Email is essential. And I know it's always difficult, especially when you feel like you have like 3-4 different email accounts, but accessing your Cardinal Email account is imperative. You must check it regularly. This is where you're going to receive confirmation of your registrations. This is where you're going to receive information from the Veterans Center if it applies to you, from financial aid. If you need tutoring resource, anything like that, they're going to come from our departments at the university, and it's going to come from your Cardinal Email account. So in the beginning, what I tell my students is we will use your personal email, and I always copy your student email for about a week. Then after that, I don't include your personal email anymore, unless you tell us, today I need to use this because I can't access my Cardinal email. I'm on my work computer or my government computer. We will make some exceptions to that, but ultimately this is your main form of communication, this email account. Okay, here's DegreeWorks, what I was speaking to you about your academic degree plan. It's official. It's maintained by the registrar's office. It has some really cool functions that I'm going to go over with you, but basically it's your degree audit. It's got your student information, your degree requirements, information about core curriculum, your major and electives. So at the top, this is one of the most important features of DegreeWorks because it's going to share with you exactly what is required for this degree, the degree that you are pursuing. First, you want to make sure that it is listed as the correct degree that you want to pursue. But the degrees at UIW and the School of Professional Studies require, for the most part, 120 hours total, credit hours. 36 of those 120 hours must be upper division credits, which means they must start with a 3 or a 4, a 3,000 or 4,000 level. You must take at least 45 hours in residency at UIW, and your last 36 of those 45 must be here in residency. You must meet for the undergraduate degree a 2.0 GPA minimum to graduate, and you must fulfill your community service requirements. It's 45 hours of community service with any nonprofit organization, and we'll accept anything you've done from the last 5 years of your admission to UIW. Okay, so this is for the master's degree. You must complete between 30 to 36 hours of graduate study, depending on your specific program. You must earn a 3.0 GPA minimum in order to graduate and to qualify to graduate. If it's a 30-hour degree program, you must do 24 credit hours at UIW in residency. There is a 7-year period for the master's degree program. If you do not finish within 7 years, you have two options. One is to request an extension, and the second is to start over. All classes are null and void that you completed prior to that 7-year period. So it's very important to finish the degree in a timely manner. Okay, so this is what the core curriculum looks like for an undergraduate degree. There are 46 hours required in the core curriculum. We require English, 2 sections, English 1, English 2, a world lit, fine arts, intro to philosophy, religion, an advanced religion, history, and then you can see the rest, social science, the rest that also includes like math, things like it's specific sometimes to your program, but for the most part, it's all the same, the core curriculum for any undergraduate degree. So the most important feature I want to bring up here is if you go off to the side and to the right side on the screen, you'll see where it says the course number, English 2310, MUSI 1320. If you click on that, it will open up a window that will show you the course description as well as the prerequisite requirements, if any, for that course. So it really is a helpful tool for assisting you with registering and when to take classes. Okay, so here is Blackboard. Blackboard is the LMS system that we're using right now, the learning management system to conduct our classes online. You'll log in through Cardinal Apps, and I should say that we use this for both on-ground and online classes right now. So you'll log in through your Cardinal Apps to access Blackboard. In Blackboard, you'll have a list of your courses, your course outline and textbook for those courses, discussion boards, weekly lessons, my grades, and announcements. And some of the most important features that you want to check regularly are going to be your announcements for your class, your weekly lessons, discussion boards, and your grades. You want to make sure you're maintaining your record as well. Blackboard closes at 5 p.m. on the 8th week of the term, that Friday at 5 p.m. of that final 8th week. And we hear it quite frequently where students will call and say on Saturday or on Monday, hey, I lost access to Blackboard and I don't know what my grade is. Well, ultimately, if you're following your grades in Blackboard and they're being updated regularly, you should know where you stand in that class. So it's not a surprise at the end when you receive your grade. So make sure that you're maintaining that grade under my grades and looking at it regularly to know where you stand in it. And of course, if you have any questions, if a grade isn't posted, contact your instructor, always contact your instructor. Okay, so this is the snapshot of the homepage on Blackboard. You'll see 5 links at the top: my UIW, courses, organization, instructor resources, and the UIW web. Courses is what we're talking about here. Your courses will be listed of everything that you're registered for. Okay, you can open it up, expand that box, that area, so you can see what you're registered for the current term. And then once you click on that, on the left-hand side, you see you're in your homepage for your class, and this class is organizational change. So this is just a sample of what it looks like. But on the left-hand side, announcements is at the top, and this is extremely important. This is where your instructor is going to let you know if there's been a change to the syllabus, or if you're an on-ground class, if there's been a change to meeting that evening or an upcoming time. So please make sure you access this regularly. So course outline and book is the next link, and that's extremely important for you to access before classes begin. Usually students have access to their course 2 weeks before the term begins. So if you have not accessed Blackboard and you are registered for classes for Monday, please open that link and download your course textbook and your syllabus, your outline, and be reviewing it. You have your instructor information in there, contact information. The weekly lessons is where all your folders are to access. They're broken down by 8 weeks, 8-week folders. Each week has its own folder with assignments, discussion boards, and information pertaining to that week's study. Okay, and then of course you have email, your grades, and all the other resources there. One of the things I'll caution you about the email is that sometimes Blackboard can have some kinks to it. So if you're emailing your instructor, or what you want to do is use your Cardinal email as well. So if you use this feature in Blackboard, just make sure you're following up with an email through your Cardinal email to your instructor, just to ensure that they received the email. Okay, conquer the classroom. So we highly encourage you to connect with your instructor, connect with classmates, and this is online or in person. So I always recommend to students that if you're in person, that first night of class, exchange contact information, get to know somebody, this is your resource. So make sure that you have someone's information so that if you miss class, you can gain notes or you can find out what happened. Or you can, if you're running late, you can contact a classmate and say, hey, can you tell our professor that I'm running a bit late, but I'm on my way? Anything, but you really need to connect with someone right away. So if you're online, same thing, you've got easy access to emails. You can contact each other through Blackboard as well. You'll have a list and it'll ask if you want to contact another student. Do it. Get familiar with who your peers are. They're a great resource for you. Keep up with your assignments. I always say if you can, go ahead, read ahead, jump ahead, be prepared. Some instructors don't want you to post ahead, but if you're reading and keeping up with assignments, you're prepared for that coming week. So it actually is necessary. Ask questions, lots of questions. There's no silly question. There's no dumb question. I've had students say, this is a really dumb question. It's not. It really isn't, because if you're thinking it, someone else is as well. And most of us have all been in that position, a non-traditional students coming back to earn our degree. There's lots of questions that need to be answered, and we want you to ask them instead of making assumptions or just not having the answers you need to make good decisions. And then most importantly, we want you to have fun here in SPS with your classmates in your classes. Just enjoy your time. Class attendance is extremely important. We are an accelerated format, but we are not abbreviated. So you will still get 16 weeks of work in an 8-week format. Missing a class can have drastic effects on your learning outcome. So this is a really neat equivalency here. One class is equal to 1 week of a regular term. If you miss one class, you are behind. 1 week in SPS puts you behind 2 weeks in a regular term. So it's really important that you try not to miss. We understand that this is a non-traditional program and we are all working adults with families and responsibilities. And for that reason, if you're going to miss or you need to be out because you're traveling for work or whatever the case may be, communicate with your instructor. Your advisor cannot actually help in this situation with your attendance. You must go to your instructor. You must reach out to your instructor. So please make sure you're contacting them, you're in communication with them. And regular attendance is essential. You get that. Your attendance policies will be laid out by your instructor in your syllabus. And I want to caution you that they are permitted to follow our attendance policy at SPS, which states that if you miss more than 2 classes, they may subtract an entire letter grade from your final grade for the absence. Okay, so make sure you're communicating with your instructor. And the drop policy. This is really important. There are different deadlines in our program than the traditional program on the Broadway campus. So we do not, this is across the board at UIW, we do not automatically drop students. We never do it. We don't, if you're coming from a community college or another institution that dropped for non-payment, dropped for non-participation, we don't do that at UIW. So if you don't pay or if you don't participate, you're still in the class. So you want to make sure that you're initiating a drop if necessary through your academic advisor. There's not a specific form or anything like that. You're just going to simply communicate with them via email. It's got to be in writing. Okay. So you'll contact your academic advisor via email. You'll let them know, I'm thinking I'm needing to drop, work with them, talk it over. Sometimes you drop and then, or you think you need to drop. And then after you speak with someone, you're like, oh, I think I can handle this. I think I can do it. If it's an academic issue or if you're struggling or anything, we also have resources for you. And I'll talk about that in a little while. That's what our student success advisor is here for. So an administrative drop requires a fee. And if you drop a class, no matter when you drop, it can be before classes begin, it can be the first week of classes, or it can be after the class has begun, you will still be charged a $50 fee for each drop. Okay, that's really important that you remember. This excludes active duty military, but for everybody else, there is a $50 fee that's assessed for every drop. Okay. The deadline to receive a 100% tuition refund is week 1 by Friday at 5 p.m. And again, you must do it in writing in an email to your academic advisor. So if you decide, I'm going to stick it out, and then Saturday you realize this is not for me, I can't do this right now, and you email your advisor, we will process your drop, but you will be responsible for 100% of the tuition. We don't do percentage rebates, or I should say refunds. We don't do percentages. It's either 100% refund by Friday at 5 p.m. of the first week, or you're responsible for the full tuition. The deadline to drop the class, so it doesn't affect your GPA and you receive a W on your transcripts, is week 6. The 6th week, which is but that Friday by 5 p.m. of the 6th week of class, you're able to drop that class. After that date, we cannot drop you. So you will earn the grade, you will receive the grade you've earned. I hope that makes sense. But if you have questions about the drop policy, please reach out to your academic advisor. Please ask questions. Okay, our graduation policy. We require every student to apply to graduate. So it's not just automatic. You completed all those nice little green check marks are in your degree plan. You've satisfied all the degree requirements, so you're graduating. You're not graduating until you've actually applied to graduate. And once you apply to graduate, your academic record is then audited by your academic advisor to determine whether you have completed all the required courses or you will complete the required courses by that planned graduation date. So you must complete your application for graduation almost a year before you plan on graduating. And we do this for a reason. It's really far in advance so that we can prepare, so that we don't have any surprises the last semester saying, hey, you're still lacking 3 classes and you're not going to graduate. We don't like those surprises. So we want to make sure that you apply to graduate in a timely manner, where if we need to add some classes, we have plenty of time to do that. Okay, check your Cardinal mail once you apply to graduate. regularly, because once you've applied and your application has been accepted, the registrar's office begins contacting you via your Cardinal email and no other way. That this is the way. There'll be deadline forms with deadlines that you'll need to submit back to them. They'll ask you if you're participating. They'll ask you to verify your name, spell it out phonetically. There are lots of forms and lots of information coming from the registrar's office once you have applied. You apply for graduation through your Banner web account through Cardinal Apps. That's why it's so important that you have access to all of that. For undergraduate students, your application will not be accepted until your 45 hours of community service is complete and documented in your Cardinal Apps account. And this is really important. I cannot tell you how many times each of us as advisors have had students not get to graduate because they waited to do their community service till the end of their program. Do this at the beginning. And if you've been actively volunteering with your children through your job, submit that now, because you really don't need that on top of you after you've worked so hard to complete your degree and all the requirements, and then community service is what's holding you back. Okay, so make sure you get that done as soon as possible. We have lots of support services here at UIW. And I'm going to go through the others and leave student success last, because our student success advisor, Sean Ford, is here, and I'd like for him to speak with y'all a little bit, because what he does is extremely important and beneficial to you. So we have the business office. It is located at the administration building on the main campus. There is their email on the screen, as well as their contact information, phone number. This is who you'll contact regarding any questions about your bill, about your TA, how to process that if you're using tuition assistance, things of that nature. They're your go-to people. We have student disability services. They are also located in the administration building on the main campus. Michelle Beasley is the advisor for student disability services, and her email is there, as well as her phone number. If you feel like you have a disability, or if you already know that you have a documented disability, Student Disability Service can assist you with submitting your documentation, your paperwork, so that perhaps you need some special accommodations in your classes regarding your disability. It's all completely confidential, so please feel free to reach out to them if you need their services. Office of Financial Assistance is located on the main campus on Broadway in the UIW Chapel building. Their website, their email, and their phone number are on the screen. They are really busy, especially around this time. And so give them a little bit of time, but make sure you're looking in your Cardinal Apps account. Here we go. In Banner to your tab that says financial aid. Most all the information and answers you seek to questions are in that tab first. So look there first, and then if you still need assistance, you can definitely reach out to them. They are available. We also have the Office of Veterans Affairs, and I believe they just had a name change, and I'll verify that. So they are located at the Student Engagement Center, which is a beautiful building on main campus. And their contact information is there. So if you are utilizing a GI Bill, voc rehab, or any type of veteran services, this is where you'll go. Also military. So I believe the name was changed to Office of Military in Veteran. I can't remember. Do you remember, Sean?
Yeah, I do not fully remember. I think it's active duty, something active duty military, and I think they're including active duty there.
We'll find out for you guys, and we'll make sure we get you the correct name. That just slipped by me. I apologize for that. Okay.
The email and the telephone number are still the same. I've verified that, so that's good enough. So if you need to ask immediately, you can do that.
Okay, perfect. So we'll make sure we get this updated for you guys. But okay, so now I'm going to introduce Student Success Advisor Sean Ford. His information is also on the screen, and I'm going to let him talk a little bit to you. You don't need me to share. You don't need to share your screen, do you, Sean?
No. Okay. We're fine. We're fine. Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Valerie, for the introduction. My name is Sean Ford, and as the Student Success Advisor, the thing that I tend to do is be a problem solver for you. Now, of course, with the environment we're going through with COVID and all the uncertainty, a lot of what I've done is help people with career guidance, but also help them get, and it's not here, but you have access to it as well, is our psychological service, our counseling service. It is free for students, and that's for SPS students as well. Now, they may have a limited number of sessions that you could possibly see someone, but they are doing telesessions. I believe that's only for students who are in Texas right now. But we definitely can find a way to get you help. We can also go through, if we need to, we can go through student disability services. So that's one thing that I do. And I want to also mention about student disability services really quickly is the fact that that also includes temporary disabilities. So we don't want you to break your arm by any chance, by any means. But if you happen to, and you say, I can't type, there are solutions for you, and SDS has a lot of those solutions. So if something like that comes up, you can contact me and I can liaise with SDS, for instance, and get you a program called JAWS, get you access to that, which is a verbal program where you speak and the computer follows what you do, and it can even help you type that way. So that's a possibility. And it also handles pregnancy accommodations. So we do have a few people when you're pregnant. That probably won't affect most of you because most of you are online. But if you find yourself in the classroom at Corpus or and you need accommodations because you're pregnant, SDS will handle that. So I can refer you there as well, or you can go directly to them. Another thing that I do is career. So this helps out our advisors quite a bit. So I'm going to say this definitely is keep in mind that what we're doing is a very, very broad degree. So a lot of people will come to me and advisors going, what can I do with this degree? And we can help you definitely plan that out, but you have a very broad field, right? If you're doing a business degree, you can do business in just about anywhere, any business, right? Right. So that's very, very broad. So we'll ask you about, what do you like? What do you have experience in? And we can help you do that. A lot of people think of us they come in and they think we might be trade school. So we only have just that little one, like air conditioner repair. Like we're not that, right? So it's not narrow. So we can't tell you exactly like, okay, we're going to place you in this job. We don't do job placement because we don't know what you want to do, right? It's really up to you to figure out where you want to go. And so if you need help with that, that's one thing that I'm here for, is to help you kind of plan that out. Think of what experiences you have and how we can help you get to the career that you want and to build that with the degree, if that makes sense. So you're always welcome to come to me. Also, if you have academic trouble, don't wait until the very last minute. If you think you're behind in the weeds and you need tutoring services, we have those available for you. We have some of them 24/7. I'm 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have those for you. So keep that in mind whenever you feel like you might be falling behind or you need some study tips, you need ideas. Please feel free, reach out. I will make sure that we try to get you where you need to get the services to make sure that you're successful. And remember that you can your services and alumni services that we will continue to provide even after you graduate. So keep that. Anytime you need, your advisor may suggest, hey, have you talked to Sean? Talk to Sean about this really quickly so we can plan out what you need to do to make you successful. We really want to see that. So thanks, guys. And I'll turn it back over to Valerie now.
Thank you so much, Sean. Appreciate that. Okay. So let's move right along. We are going to talk about library services. UIW has a beautiful library on the Broadway campus. And even if you're online, you have access to the library resources. Library services, our distance learning librarian, we have our own librarian, which is really cool. Her name is Erin Cassidy. And let me tell you, she's itching to get involved with you guys. She really does want to help and assist. If you're looking to do a research paper, if you're in the graduate program, you'll do a lot of research and utilize the library services. So Erin is there to assist us with that. There is her contact information. Please feel free to get in contact with her. She would love it. We do have an online writing center, the OWC. It is available to SPS students. I would highly recommend that you reach out to them and utilize them as a resource for you when you're writing your papers. And most importantly, if you've been out of school for a while, or maybe your writing skills are a little rusty, this is the online writing center. This is what they do. This is how they're going to help you. But I will caution you, please make sure you submit your papers well in advance of the due date, because it takes them a little bit to review it, to look at it, to get in contact with you, to make their recommendations. They won't write it for you, but they're definitely going to help you. But you've got to give them some time. So it does no good to send them your paper the day before it's due, 2 days before it's due. Give them at least a week. You have your due dates in your course outlines, so you'll know well in advance when something is due, and just always be prepared. Prepare ahead. But please look into utilizing the online writing center and contacting Erin Cassidy at the library. Okay, we encourage each of you to follow us on social media, and here are all our usernames. We've got our Facebook account, and we will make announcements on our social media accounts. If we're doing something really fun and cool, we'll announce it there. If we've got any type of up to date things that we want to share with you that we feel are important or that you will be interested in, they're going to be shared on all these platforms. So we encourage you to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Rave Alerts. The Rave Mobile Safety Alert app is in your Cardinal Apps account. It is UIW's emergency alert system. So the Rave system sends emergency information concerning the university. And these can be anything regarding weather. Unfortunately, what we've experienced in this day and age is active shooters, or any type of concern that the university needs to speak to you about, COVID updates, things like that. You will get them in a text message through our UIW Rave Alert. So make sure that you enroll so that you can receive notifications. You'll find it in your Cardinal Apps account. Make sure to keep your cell phone number updated, and always be checking that to make sure you're able to receive an alert from UIW. Okay, you'll go through Banner Web, but when you're making sure your contact information is updated. And I'm going to encourage you. This says make sure your cell phone number is updated. Please make sure all your information is updated. Address, phone number, everything on there. It's really important. So I want to speak a little bit about COVID-19 and how UIW is handling this. We had our courses in fall 2020 all distance. So if they were a face-to-face class, it was remote. We're going to move through we're going to follow that same process for spring 1. Spring 1 classes beginning on Monday will all be taught remotely. So instructors will be utilizing Blackboard if it's an online class. If it was a face-to-face class, they have the option of utilizing Zoom sessions combined with Blackboard. So it's important that you reach out to your instructor or look in Blackboard to determine how your course is going to be handled. Okay. We have a Cardinal flight plan with UIW, and in our Cardinal flight plan, it explains how we are preparing to return to the campus. Now, some of the main campus have already returned to campus, but we in SPS have not yet gotten there. So our centers are not located, all of our centers are not located on the Broadway campus. So we have different centers, the Northeast Center, the Northwest Center, and we have to ensure that those centers are ready to open back up and receive students. So as of right now, we will be running with a skeleton crew on the 25th of January in the centers. However, that may change. So we ask that you keep checking the updates for the COVID updates on the UIW flight plan. And you'll receive information from us as well in SPS regarding that return. We still are encouraging students to, once we return to the centers in person, that you still schedule appointments for advising via Zoom or distance, using email, phone, Zoom sessions, with whatever the case may be. But we just really do not want you to do in-person appointments at that time, because the center will not be open for classes at that time. We are anticipating that in March for spring 2, we will be able to return to the classroom. But again, it's possible that it will be in a very limited manner, but also that may change. You know, we just don't know. It's all dependent on what's happening with the pandemic in our area. So this is where you'll go, this website, to keep abreast of all of the COVID updates. And we in SPS will also in turn make sure we keep you updated on what we're doing and what's available to you. So this brings me to piggyback what Sean was talking about. We do have a lot, since so many of our students had to move remotely to take their classes, and maybe we're not accustomed to it. We have some online tutoring options available to students. So you don't have to go in person to do tutoring. We have availability for you to receive that online. We do online advising appointments while we've been, because the majority of us are all still working remotely, but we're still able to assist you. We're still able to advise you. We can do online advising appointments. We also have a really cool feature that we began during quarantine, and that's our virtual online advising counter. So it's like a walk-in Zoom session. It's set at a specific time. It's located on our website, the SPS website, School of Professional Studies. And if you go under advising, you can see the Zoom link. It never changes. Click on that. And it's typically Monday through Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. We are available. Any advisor is available to assist you. It doesn't have to be your specific assigned advisor. It can be, you can get assistance from any advisor, like I said previously. So this is a good option for you. If you need some assistance, you can jump on that Zoom. We're also available on Saturday mornings from 9 to 1 p.m. Advisors are available to assist you through that virtual counter as well. Okay. Counseling services, like Sean said, are available, and there's the link for it to gain more information and ask any questions you may have about that. And the student experience, when we return to campus and we're able to enjoy some of the activities that we once did, I want to share with you what's available on the Broadway campus, especially because our Alamo Heights Center actually holds their classes in the administration building and the Fike School of Pharmacy building located on main campus. So we have athletic sporting events that all students at UIW are able to attend. Each student gets a free ticket to attend the sporting events. We have a huge student organization program and Greek life at UIW. Campus dining. We also have Chick-fil-A and Starbucks located on the campus. Our library, of course, is there. And we do have a gym. It's the Wellness Center located on the Broadway campus. There is a membership fee, but it's not much at all. And it really is a beautiful facility. I don't know, do we have, oh yeah, the next slide is exactly what I'm going to talk about that. Student IDs. So this has changed just a little bit, but I'm going to go through what we normally would do on and how to receive your ID. So normally we would be on the main campus this morning, having our orientation, and we would literally walk you to the student life office on the 3rd floor of the Student Engagement Center and have your ID created for you right there. But since we're still remote, that is not our option. But typically, this is where you would go to request your ID. It's the Student Engagement Center on the Broadway campus. You can also request to have your ID created at the Northwest Center. It is by appointment. Typically, you should definitely call ahead for availability. Or you can order it through your academic advisor or call to order, and it's a pickup. But please note that if you do it that way, your ID won't have a picture on it. It will simply have your barcode, and you'll need to use your driver's license or government issued ID along with it. Okay. So right now during the pandemic, students are still able to receive an ID. You'll contact the Student Engagement Center at that phone number there, and you're going to need to supply them with a picture. and they will create it for you, and then you can coordinate with them how to receive it. I believe you receive it through mail right now. So contact them if you're needing to get your ID created. You do need an ID to access the library in person, okay, and check out books. Not access the library. You can go to the library, look at, read the books, but if you're checking out, you've got to have your ID card. Okay, so we have 4 locations in the School of Professional Studies. We have the Alamo Heights Center. So these are the advising offices where you can make an appointment to speak to the advisor, located at the Alamo Heights Center. And that is actually located on the backside of St. Anthony's Catholic High School on McCullough. We have the Northeast Center, which is actually located inside Rolling Oaks Mall. We have the Northwest Center, which is out Data Point, I-10 and Wurzbach area. And then of course we have the Corpus Christi Center. So the Alamo Heights Center, their advising offices, like I said, are at on McCullough Avenue on the backside of St. Anthony's Catholic High School. The undergraduate classes are held at the UIW Administration Building on the Broadway campus. And the graduate classes are held at the Fike School of Pharmacy right on Hildebrand, just up the road from the Broadway campus. Parking permits are required for both of those buildings. You will get your parking permit if you're on an in-person class at one of those centers. You must purchase your parking permit. You can register your car through Boss Cars, and it's in your Cardinal Apps account. I think it's also Cardinal Cars. Pick up your decal from the business office and you'll be good to go. You do not need a parking permit for the other centers. The Northwest Center, like I said, is located I-10 and Wurzbach area. It's on Data Point Drive near the medical center, really close to USAA. At this center is where you will be able to get Saturday advising. So when we're not in quarantine, there's an advisor available from 9 to 1 every Saturday at that center. And no appointment is needed. It is a walk-in basis. At this center is where we also offer Saturday tutoring. Right now we have English and math includes statistics tutoring. So it really is a great resource. But just because we're in a pandemic does not mean we're not offering you the tutoring. We're offering it, it's just in a different format. And the Northeast Center, this is our center located inside Rolling Oaks Mall. We have our own classrooms and offices inside our center there, and we are on the back side of Rolling Oaks Mall, lower level, closer to JCPenney. So weird to say that because I heard that there were some stores closing in that area. So, but we're still there. So right now, this really concludes our orientation, but I want to give you the opportunity to ask questions and to see if there's any concerns or questions that I can answer for you, or any of the advising team can answer for you that are logged on today. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now so that we can, you don't have to share, you don't have to start your video or anything to ask your question. You can either put it in the chat or you can ask your question. You can unmute yourself. It's completely up to you. So I'll just give you a few minutes if you have any questions, and we'll see how we can assist you.
We know it's a lot of information, guys. Don't feel that you have to think about it right now. You can always ask us later. And we did have a question in the chat that I wanted to go ahead and answer. We are recording this session, so after it's recorded and it gets downloaded, it takes a while to download, and then we have to re-upload to YouTube to make sure people can access it because it's the most accessible video site. Once we do that, I will send you an email. If you even registered for this and people who weren't able to attend, you can share that. You can have that for yourself, and you can keep that.
Okay, I see a question, and it states, will we be receiving our textbook sometime today or the beginning of the class for active duty? Okay, so depending on when you registered for classes, you'll receive an email link. This is for graduate only, graduate students. that are active duty, you will receive an email with instructions on how to access your textbook and how to download it. However, if you are not a graduate student and you are active duty, you will still receive your textbook information through Blackboard, because all of our undergraduate students receive their textbooks free in our program. So if you're a graduate student, you'll receive that in your email. If you haven't received it, please check your spam. Please check your personal email spam and also your UIW spam. Sometimes it gets lost in there. If for some reason you do not receive it or haven't received an email about it and you need it, you're a graduate student and you need that textbook link, reach out to your academic advisor and we'll make sure that we get you in contact with the person who can get you that information. But if that's for graduate only active duty, if you're undergraduate active duty, you go through the same process as the other undergraduate students, and that's through Blackboard. Your textbook is in Blackboard. You're very welcome. Okay. And like Sean said, if you can't think of any questions right now, not a problem. Just reach out to your academic advisor or any one of us on the advising team, and we'll be happy to assist you and answer any questions you may have. I know sometimes it's hard to think on the spot, and then when you hang up or when you disconnect, you're like, oh darn, I meant to ask that, and then you didn't. So just we all do it. So just feel free to reach out to us. Monday is the first day of class. I just want to stress that to you. If you're online, there is not a specific time to log in. Just make sure you check in for sure on Monday. I do want to explain that we do financial aid and other departments at UIW require us to do an attendance check that first week of classes. So we highly encourage you to start getting active right away. Monday, log in. Typically, you're going to find that you need to post bios, tell me about yourself, introduce yourself in your class. So just make sure you do something so the instructor knows that you're there and that you're actively logging into the class. It's really important.
I also want to mention, guys, if you ever feel that, we're being overly bureaucratic or heavy-handed with stuff, a lot of things we actually have to do. It's either state and or federally mandated. So don't feel like we're punishing you, or even the instructor sometimes is punishing you. What's actually probably happening a lot of those times is our hands are tied. We have to do it that way. Because the state or federal government tells us we have to do it. So a lot of times people think, why are they being so heavy-handed or so bureaucratic? Well, a lot of times we can't help it. We want to be as flexible as we can. We understand. I usually tell people that the greatest thing about working for UIW for an adult program, I was an adult student, and about 90 to 99% of us were adult students. We were not traditional students. So we went through this process that you went through, including graduate school. Most of us have graduate degrees. So we know what it's like. We know what the bureaucracy is like. So if you're frustrated, we actually probably went through that frustration, or at least one or two of us know exactly what you're going through. So when we say we know what you're going through, we mean it. I know a lot of people say that. We probably mean it. We probably have actually been there, done that. So we know the frustration.
Right. So thank you, Sean. Someone put in the chat, I have class today. You do if you have signed up for a Saturday class. So we do offer Saturday classes at the Northwest Center. Typically, they're hybrid classes. So they're part online and part in the classroom. You will meet on Saturdays. Typically, it's about a 2 to 4 hour class. I think it's a 4-hour class. And you'll meet on Saturdays, and then the rest of the week, you're meeting online in the online learning format and the system. So yes, some of you may have a class today and may have had class today. So just remember that to keep checking your Blackboard and see how your instructor is going to be delivering the course. If it is a face-to-face class, if it is categorized as a face-to-face on-ground class, please make sure you're checking to see how they're delivering their course during this time. Okay, so just check with them. Some may mandate Zooms and some may not. I shouldn't say mandate. Some may offer Zooms and some may not. They're not mandatory. Let me stress that. They're not mandatory. We cannot ask our students to log in at a specific time if we're remote right now. So, but the beauty of it is your instructors are open to communication. So please speak with them if there's any kind of questions or concerns. But yes, some of you may have had a class today. So I think that we should be good. If you have any questions that come up later on, like I said, feel free to reach out to any of us on the team or your specific academic advisor, and we'll be happy to assist you. And on behalf of the entire staff and faculty with the School of Professional Studies, I want to welcome you to UIW, and we're happy to have you as a Cardinal with us. So hope you have a blessed day and have a great weekend.